Hi there guys, how's it going? It's Jack Reaper here again in Fallout 4, and today we're carrying on with our Let's Build series. So it's another fairly long episode, 57 minutes and 57 seconds, no, that's 58 minutes. And today we're just going to be carrying on, moving on. We'll get up onto the top of the wall on the what is now on our left hand side. We'll get up onto the top of there, and we'll be getting some of the structures down here done, and we're trying to map out a little bit of how we're going to actually get up there. I know we have the little paths and the little steps on that are already on the side of the castle, but I want also the actual structures to you. I want you to be able to floor through the buildings and be able to actually move. So there'll be a little shack here with a little walkway here, and you'll pass through different bits and pieces to try and obviously better people that live in, you won't pass through there, but I want there to be little pathways around, and to feel like the settlement has started off as just something small and gradually got bigger as more and more people came. I am at the point with this settlement where I have now decorated and I have recorded the final videos. It's turned into a huge settlement. When we get to the end, you'll see that, and obviously you'll see the process all the way up there. But how it will work is we'll have 4 hours of building videos, this being the second. There'll be 4 hours of building videos, and then there'll be 2 hours of videos which are a little bit of building but not much. It's more me decorating with things such as cabinets and beds and any little gaps and things that are in the floor. Maybe I'll drop a junk fence in or some cinder blocks, or putting in chain link fences and things like that. And with that, obviously, I'm using things like the stairs to move them into them areas and sink them in. Now that I know that glitch tool, I am starting to use it a little bit more, although it isn't something that I jump to start using all the time. It's not something that really crosses my mind straight away to use. It's starting to become a lot more helpful to cover them gaps at the bottom there. Now there is obviously things like this. It's in the on the USO mod. You get it with the half wall pieces inside the menu, and they're quite good because they're quite soft, and the smallest sink in the wall and stay blue. You just saw it there. They're quite good at getting placed for covering up them gaps at the bottom as well. They also add another little texture with the boards going the opposite way to what they are on the actual wall. I'm suffering with a little bit of a sore throat today, so I might keep swallowing. I think it's from working outside in the cold all the time, you see. And it's also bonfire night, so you might hear my dog going crazy. For you that don't know what bonfire night, it's a celebration we do in England. It's celebrating Guy Fawkes. Well, celebrating Guy Fawkes getting caught, I think. Well, what it was the you can tell I'm full of all the facts. So what it is the Guy Fawkes and his guys had a plot to go under the Houses of Parliament and blow up Parliament, and they ended up getting caught. So now we burn Guy Fawkes on a fire, and we burn Guy Fawkes on a fire, and we have fireworks. The only thing is, people in this country think that bonfire night lasts 3 months, a month and a half before Halloween, a month and a half before bonfire night, and a month and a half after. And what they do is, next to our house, on one side of our house, we've got a house, and the other side we've got a big field, at about 15 meters, if that, away from our house. Every year they have a massive fire out there. It's huge. They bring all the stuff. Now last year, whoever it was, someone from the council, started clearing a bit of it up, and they lost some of the fire. So this year they didn't set it up till tonight, and I thought we'd actually got a year where they weren't going to do the fire out there, and we looked out at 6 and there was nothing, and you look out at 6:30 and they've got a massive fire built, and they don't really care what they're putting on it either. They've got tyres on there and plastic on there and wood on there, anything really that'll just shot out onto that bonfire. But also with that comes fireworks, hundreds of them. They're just launching them off everywhere. You can just buy them in the shop, and as long as you've got someone who's 18 with you, they're not bothered. So they're just firing off fireworks left, right and centre, which is sending the dog a little bit crazy. So you might hear the dog in the background. So here we've moved up on, we've built this bit across the front. The first part of this was built in the last episode, how I've done this is I actually built 3 hours at once, like in one night, and I just recorded it in chunks, kept hitting that share button on the PlayStation remote. That's what I am working on the PS4, and I recorded it in 10-minute chunks, 5 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I pieced it all together, and on my video editor I'm using the SHAREfactory on the PlayStation, so it only allows me to record and edit an hour at a time. That's why you're getting these in hour chunks, or just less than an hour. So yeah, what we built last week, I'm now going up onto the top of that. I'm trying to, like I said last week, I'm trying to build so the centre of the castle, the actual centre of it, will be the lowest point, single story buildings, the walkways right there in the centre. Now when you stand in that centre, the idea is I want it to be so that it looks kind of like a bowl, or like the stands in a stadium, where it all kind of rises away from that little shanty town. So the houses on the bottom and then on the top will be on different angles, but set back a little bit further. And then obviously the last tier then will be on the top. Now when I was thinking about this originally, when I was thinking about this idea, I actually thought the castle walls were higher, and I might get that illusion from the outside of the castle. I felt like it was 3 stories high, the castle walls. Got a pretty good thing that it wasn't, because it had just started getting a little bit stupidly tall when I was trying to it actually has worked out quite well in the 3rd tier being up on the top. So I built a little living area there, and then I'll come round here, and I want to try and bridge this over, but I'm sick of using these square pieces, so I think, let's get ourselves a bridge. I'm hoping it'll fit in. Obviously the gap's very small, so I do initially try a smaller bridge, which like I say is a bit small, so that's good, which is a good sign, because my bigger bridge, the one that I like, in the shack bridges menu, cross a couple, here we go, 2 seconds, there we go, nope, that, I thought that was going to be too big, but actually it turned out it actually fit in here quite nicely. Bring it over like that, spin it around, make sure it fit. It's quite good, this little shack bridge. It just drops into things, and it doesn't drop into things the same way as, say for instance, the bottom of that caravan does, or them green guard posts, like the ones you see the gunners using quite a lot. They sink and they glitch with the floor because they sit at exactly the same level, so you get each one fighting for them to get rendered, for them to be in the picture, so you get like a flickering effect. That it sits just a little bit lower than the actual the rest of the woodwork that's around, which is quite nice, because it sinks and looks like it's actually being built into it, rather than without me having to worry about having to use anything to drop it in there, like a pillar or anything like that. So up there we've got the guard tower, that's going to be looking over the top of the front door, so we know we want to be leaving that. But I'm also thinking, how am I going to get up on the top of that castle wall? How am I going to make it flow so if you were up here you wouldn't have to go down and back up, and obviously it's inconvenient for people. So to want to have, if you were building it yourself you wouldn't build it, so you had to go walk around a maze to try and get to places. Obviously if we were under attack, the last thing we want is one way to get up onto the walls and protect the settlement. So I'm trying to put that up there, get steps in. Now them steps I jumped in quite easily. Obviously with that being the 1 floor higher, them stairs there, or ladders some people call them, they can be a bit of a pain to get in sometimes, especially when, say for instance, one floor's only half height above the next floor. You cannot like push its way through. There is little ways around that, and at some point during the build, I think it's in the next video, or maybe the video after that, I can't really remember, but I actually have to try and get some steps in. I think maybe in the next video I have to get some steps in, and I want to use them bigger ones. So I can't remember, it might even be that I'm trying to use the little ones and they've still got a glitch through the floor, and there's a way that I can get them on the side and glitch them around. It doesn't work every time, I can't get them to push their way around and snap every time, but sometimes it works, and I'll show you that one when we get to it. I'll bring it up again then. I tend to be repeating myself anyway, so why not repeating myself then, I guess. So here I've got a little, I know on the other side of this, a lot of my settlements, well all my settlements, they have a little reception desk. which I'm going to build later on, and that's going to check everyone's paperwork, make sure they're alright coming in the settlement. Obviously this is the main military settlement for the Minutemen, and they don't want to have just any old people coming in, like undercover raiders or something dressed as settlers. It'd be quite easily for them to kill a settler, take the clothes and come in here and pretend that they're not raiders, you know, and that way they can come in and they can maybe rob us from the inside. It saves them attacking the place and losing men. They might as well just come in and rob us. So to do that, they would have to get past this desk, which would have the paperwork and everything, and it's just an extra line of line of security for the actual settlement. Most of the settlements have that little place in them. But this will be the guard on the back, so when you're stood at that desk, you've got a guard constantly behind you watching you, make sure you're not doing anything behind your back, and make sure you're not being a little bit shifty, or that you're not distracting while someone else is sneaking in. That guard will be constantly watching over your back there. So we're building a little area for him. We want him to, this is one of the few little buildings within the settlement that I actually know what's going to be. It's built for a purpose rather than built to fit, because how I tend to work is I'll tend to just build things so they fit what's going to be aesthetically pleasing for the eye, what I'm going to actually think works well with the settlement, and that's how I tend to build. And then at the end I'll have a little run round and I'll go, right, okay, this room works well as a bedroom, this room works well as a shop, this room works well as X, Y and Z, and I can't get that to fit up on there. That should have known that door piece wasn't going to allow that, so I've just got to get myself a skinnier floor, shot that in up there, perfect. Now it's not supported, but I will deal with that later, but it does need to be. I might deal with that later on. I don't even think that's on this episode that I deal with that, to be honest with you, because what I do is I get this wall up here, and I'm looking around here now, and how am I gonna extend this? What am I gonna do now? I don't want that building that in there, where the steps are going up alongside of it. I don't want that to be any bigger. I don't want that the rooms in there to be any bigger. So what am I going to actually do with this space? Because obviously if I'm going to do a tiered settlement that goes up the walls and ends up on the top of the walls, that space can't be empty, surely. It does turn out that it is. It does turn out that it works quite well, that it's like that. But obviously that is my thought process at the time. I don't know what I want to do with it. So I thought, right, I'll go away from that for a little bit. I'll come over here. Let's work out how we're going to get this side of the settlement actually up on the wall. I realised that gap there would be easily walked over, but I don't know if there's going to be problems with pathing with settlers. I don't know whether they'll do that, because the settlers might see that as just walking straight up off the edge of the castle. They might not register there's a path, a foundation on the other side. A floor, sorry. So I've got that little building there, and it's got a little area they can look out of if they want to. Obviously it's got the guard up on the top, so there might be a little guard's room down there. Put somewhere where he can sit and talk to his friends, and we'll put a little bed in there as well for him, and he's got his guard up over the front door now. Obviously remember from last week, that red metal girder is holding up the guard shack from over the front door. Anyone comes running in, just going to get shot in the back by that guard there. So this is going to be our little workshop. So I'm just having a little look around, trying to remember what I've got where. So this is going to be a little bit of a shop. So we've got a shop front there. So what could I do with that shop, I'm thinking? And I'm moving around. Just having a little think here. What can I do with that back end? So I think to myself, right, I want a little roof on there. If this is going to be a shop, I want a roof on here. Now this doesn't work out for me. This doesn't work out for us. I do play around with it for a little bit. I do try to get it to fit in there, but it just wasn't having it. It just wouldn't drop in. I mean, it couldn't snap to the roof on the other side because it was half the roof. It couldn't snap to the roof on this side because it'd be forcing it through that building. It just wasn't going to work. I tried it from the top here as well. Just no chance. Just wouldn't have it. Spinning it, moving it. It's them smaller, thin, flat pieces. I thought, well, them little flat roofs there, they're quite good at snapping. They'll snap through walls and all sorts then, but this area here just wasn't having it. It just wouldn't have any of it. So I had to move on from that, leave it. Oh well, not going to dwell on that for very long. What was that? 2 minutes we've tried messing around with that roof? Too long. So we're going to box off this room. I know I want it to be this big, so let's shut that one down there. Put one on the opposite side. I'm going to change the piece up so you don't want it repeating right next to each other. I don't mind if they're on opposite sides of the building where you're not going to see both sides of the building at the same time, but right next to each other looks a little bit much. I have done it in older settlements. Obviously, from looking at my older settlements, having a little walk through, you'll see that. Now if you look on this piece here that I'm putting in, you'll see one side solid and the other side's kind of like broken boards. Now the side with the broken boards is the softer side. You can sink that side in. You don't have to glitch it, you don't have to grab it, like group select it or anything like that. You can just slide that in. It'll actually go quite far into the other piece. Mixing them pieces up as well. We'll bring it around there like we've boxed out that little section as the settlers. Sorry about that, guys. And then we've got a nice little house here as well, and I'm thinking, well, this is going to be the main entrance into the actual castle, so this will be another little guard place. We'll sort of little guard station in there as well. I don't think I put that guard station in there now, but that is definitely what the best place for that is. Little yeah. So perfect. No gaps. No problems with that. So we finished off that little room there as well. Sorry about that, guys. Throat just playing up. So now that's starting to look a little bit boxy. What I did there was we were starting to get dark, so I just swapped my time. So we went onto the back into the daylight. I'm just up on the top of that building now. Just because of the editing, I wasn't going to be able to fit both videos in if I didn't. We were just waiting there for the. I was wondering there why we'd paused. I actually thought my recording had paused there for a second. I thought there's no way I've got to start this again, but no, I have already recorded this whole thing tonight. The whole thing, 59 minutes. I'd recorded 58 minutes. Sorry, recorded the whole thing. Didn't turn my mic on, did I? So this is my second time through. Oh man, Jesus. So yeah, on the top here we build a little. Look, get rid of that guard shack there. We're building a little guards shack on the top of here. I've said we're just getting rid of the guard shack. I meant the guard post. So I want it on different levels. I want it to build up. So we do that. We put that on there. Then I'll take the little stairs, shot them up there. Can't get the big ones to force the way through. Put the little ones on. I do prefer the big ones, the wider, and I feel like settlers get up them easier. That might not be the case, it's probably not the case, but I feel like it is. So I always tend to go for them. Now to stagger this next building, I'll use these little steps and I'll put them in a random place so they're not going to snap over the edge. There we go. And then I'll snap my foundation from that. I know it's not straight with the bottom piece. I know it's not going to run smoothly with it, but it's a shack. I don't want it to move smoothly. And then yes, although it's only a little bit out, it does add a little bit of a difference once the walls are up and the little fences on the patio area at the front, or the decked area at the front, shall we say. Once that's on there, it starts to give it a little bit of a different shape. Also, I'll put this on the side, which drags this side out as well. And although yes, they're more or less square to each other, the different levels and the different depths of the pieces that I'm putting down also give them a unique little feel to them once it's finished as well. Accidentally selected my castle wall there. Thank God I didn't delete it. I actually did do that in the decorating phase once I wasn't recording. I deleted it and I had to go back to a save. Luckily it wasn't too long. I'd only just started deleting stuff inside. I was trying to clear the floors out inside the castle. Instead of grabbing a bar of soap that was on the floor in, I think it's in the room that's meant to be your route, like which is meant to, originally the general will have had it. It's got the table with the 3 chairs with a missile on it, and the 1 chair at the other side, and the broken bed in there. And I presume that's meant to be the general's room. It's actually what stayed the general room in this. And I there was 2 bars of soap on the floor, and I had the soap selected. It said soap on the screen. I pressed circle. I pressed square. Sorry, a circle. Yes, press circle. To select it and store it, pressed X, and it took the whole building. I couldn't believe it. It took the whole building. Obviously, I don't have that piece to put back in. Not that I would have been able to place it anyway. There was way too much stuff built on top and around it for me to ever been able to place it if that was a possibility. But I don't think you should be able to store it. If you don't have them pieces, why can you store it? I don't know. But I suppose it is a mod that puts that in. That's not Bethesda. We wouldn't be able to actually delete it at all if it was them. In the base vanilla game, you can't touch it. So I know up here I want a little guard shack, but I want them to be able to have a little area. Sorry guys, my throat's absolutely knacking us. But I want them to be able to look out across the settlement and also look out if, for instance, anything's coming in for those front gates. So I'm giving them these little shack walls on this side. We've got a little area we can put a bed into the back there. We'll get the roofs on here. I like this little piece. It's nice. It's nice and soft. It drops into wherever you want to put it. It doesn't really fight you on much, which is quite nice. Put this up here. Deeper wall, perfect. And that one up there, and then that can be a little living area for them as well. And we'll shot a couple of roofs on there as well, keep them nice and dry. Can't be complaining. Fabric roof on that side. Might have done that the other way around, but it worked. It's alright, it's all good. So now that I've selected that, I can move my stairs over to where I want them. Grab that, put that in there, that blocks off that side. They've got a little patio area, they've got a little living area. This guard should be happy up here. There shouldn't be any complaints. We started to go to night time again, so I've skipped forward to the daytime. And we've got the now I'm thinking to myself, right, how am I going to do these walls? And what I ended up deciding with this wall, I'm going to rebuild it in the brick. I've got the USO mod, so I have the pieces that have the actual castle block texture on them. And normally I would build from this side and I would line it up with a little concrete ridge that goes around the top of the wall. But because I've already built this structure, I was unable to do that. We'll see in a minute. So here I try putting it in. Normally I would see that little concrete bit at the side, and I realise I'm not going to get it in because of that foundation there. So I'm trying to move it along here and also use that little bit of still not working. So I'll plonk it down, grab hold of that, try and line it up from a distance. Done this a few times. Most of the times I do it for, like I say, from the other side, but I tend to fix the walls on this settlement. I was going to try and not do it, but what I was suffering with the fact I couldn't get things to sink in that concrete. Now I know you didn't see that, me doing that little bit, and it wasn't that I cut it out. It was that I actually didn't record that little bit, and I had to go back. What happened was I'd been building for about 20 minutes, and I'd been trying to get things into that thing, and just before I pressed record, my game crashed. so the footage was gone, so I had to load back in, but so was everything that I'd built. So you've just come back into it exactly where I've started building again. And you've come back into it there. So at this point here, I've built that one along there, but obviously they're on different angles, so I can't use these to snap. So I'll flip that around, make sure that all the brickwork's running, all the block work is running the right way. Yep, it's all sunk into the ground sound. And then we'll come up this side. We'll use them little concrete lips. 1 sec, we'll see it now. Yep, so we'll use some concrete lips and we'll line that up like that. Once that's lined up with that, it'll go straight over, because they run completely parallel with where it should end up on that other side of the wall. So then we can just snap it up. Bang, 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 bang. 2 more. 1 more? Yeah, 1 more. There we go, straight over to the end. Now we can snap it onto the side. That won't go in there yet. You know it won't go in there yet because it's not high enough. There we go, now it'll snap back.
9 a.m. here at Radio Freedom.
Now I can't get it in there. I had it a minute ago though. Just bouncing all over the place. There we go. So that's that part sorted. Now we flip that round. If you look, I have 1 piece to turn round, but I don't. I turn every other piece round. It does flow better that way. It would technically be better built that way. But really I could have just turned that 1 piece and then it'd have all matched up and it would have looked right. You wouldn't have noticed. I think you only notice when a piece is in the wrong way. So we go along here. Make sure these all fit in nicely. And how I would go down onto the next level down is that I saw a YouTuber doing this a couple of years ago. I was trying to work out how I could fix the castle. I can't remember who it was that I watched because it was such a long time ago now. But yeah, he said if you put the stairs on, the bottom of the stairs will attach to the floor part of this next piece, so you can snap that directly underneath. You've got to work from the top down, but it works really well, and then you can snap that straight across. We're not going to worry about any little gaps at the bottom because they will be covered up, and so will that seam going across the centre. Obviously they've got the little lip on as well, so we use them stairs to get ourselves back up, drop down on the other side. Now there's a little reveal part here, and I always thought if the castle was the other way around and the this hole that I'm patching up now was on the other side near the sea, I could have left that area and built out from that with like a little wooden shack and had that as like a little, I don't know, a little house on the outside of the castle. Maybe a fisherman or something lives there, or someone who looks over a little dock could live in there. Obviously if they were in danger or someone was attacking the castle, they could make their way inside and get protection inside the castle like they would in the medieval times. Obviously not everyone would live inside the castle walls, but if they got attacked everyone would move on inside. The problem is I built a really big settlement here, and when we get to the end of it, I mean it takes me, I think it was 33 minutes for the daytime tour, and then there's like a 19-minute nighttime tour. But I just can't get it any shorter than that if I'm going to move slow enough for you to get to see everything, and I'm going to go around every single room in the settlement. I'm just not going to fit it all in. And I wanted to show it off at night as well. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. So I didn't... I can't really. My ideas, my hopes are always to try and build a main settlement inside and then a secondary settlement on the outside. Frame rate just will not allow it. Now I did have an idea which I managed to pull off on the outside of the settlement, and you don't see it within these builds, in these let's builds. Because what I've done is I built up the interior of the settlement. That's the first 4 episodes. So I spent 4 hours and I built the inside of the settlement with all this wood structure. So that'll be our first 4 episodes. This is episode 2 of them 4. Then after that we have 2 more episodes. They're like decorating, but decorating not in the way of junk decorating. They're decorating like putting down cabinets, putting down beds, and filling in gaps, dropping in junk walls to cover little gaps, or maybe some cinder blocks and tyres and sandbags and all that sort of stuff, and getting them, using the stairs and group selecting them into the places where I want them. And you get 2 hours of that. But at that point my memory on my PlayStation was full, so I had to stop recording. And one at night time when everyone's asleep is when I actually do these recordings, so I can't talk over them while I'm doing them. I can't talk in the mic while I'm actually doing the recording and the actual building. So I record this stuff afterwards. This is after the fact. So I wasn't able to have a load of recordings sat in my PlayStation because I just ran out of space. So because of that, I only have them 6 episodes. I've then gone junk decorated them, got the settlers, moved them over. There's 33 settlers. It ends up in this settlement. 33 settlers. So you can tell it's a large place, and it could have, by rights, it could have took more. I think there's more beds than what there is settlers. 1 bed in a room. I haven't even used my bunk beds on this settlement. I don't think I might have used them here and there, but I don't think I've used bunk beds in here, which I typically jump to. I typically use. I typically like my my bunk beds that you get with the USO mod. So I'm building a little house up on the top here. It'll be another little guard house. They'll have their own little patio out the front. They're going to have that big area out the front. So I've put some machine gun turrets down as well. I tend to use machine gun turrets more than anything. Just I think it's more, for me, they seem a little bit more believable, and without the wires they're a little bit more clean as well. Plus, I end up putting that many of them. You don't really need any more. I mean, after watching SAR, I know now that you actually only need 100 defense to win 50% of your settlement attacks if you're not there. I used to have like 600-700 defense, and there's just no need for it. It's just madness. There's just guns everywhere, and because they move, they take up so much frame rate. It's absolutely ridiculous. So here I am trying to get some shack bridges. I'm trying to get them just to fit in, but I'm having no luck. And I really don't, looking back, I really don't need them in. I'm just trying to add a different bit of size to the side of this settlement, but really, because of the frame rate at the end, I'm quite glad I didn't, because I would have decorated them out even more, and if I decorated them out even more, my frame rate would have been even lower. So it's actually a blessing in disguise that this didn't work out. So we get rid of that. Still trying, still persisting, trying to get this in here, but it's not going to work. So we'll go back to the thinner walls. Will we? Or will we put a flooring down at the bottom first? Can't remember which way around we do it. Yeah, thinner walls. Get them in there. Nice little open one there, a little bit of a window. That's as close as we get to the window, really, isn't it? Apart from obviously the big open one, but it's the only one that's fully open. I could have used actually them sheeted windows a little bit more. I don't tend to use them. Now, I'm going to get a little there. Yeah, take that out there. Now I'll put these 2 across here because I want to have some stairs going up. I want to have some stairs coming down the centre of the floor there, coming down into the middle. But when I get across here, you'll see I'll put this on here, and I'll try and go further across, and it doesn't catch the top of there, because these doors and the thicker walls are actually higher than the other walls. You meant to have a roof sat on the other ones, whereas these ones actually cover the roof. These go next to the roof sort of thing, and the other ones sit underneath it. So it leaves that gap, which just doesn't work. It doesn't work out. So I have to rethink, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Again, I could have group select. I could have done something and lowered that down into there, but I don't think like that. I think, well, how else can I do it? So what I do is I shot this thicker wall on the outside. Now, thicker ones. Yep, put that out there. That out there. Then we'll put the steps so I can get the height. Big steps. Yep. We'll go up the steps. We'll delete them 2 squares.
1 p.m. This is Radio Freedom.
Well, not delete them, we'll move them off to the side. It's probably a smarter idea anyway. Go along to our thicker walls. And we'll clamp that onto the side. Now, a lot of you would say that that's floating, and I understand some people think that looks floaty, but there's no reason why that wouldn't work. If you had some 6x2 or whatever, and you were going across this top floor, and you were attached to the roof that I'm going to put in on this other side when I get to it. See, I put these walls in. Now, if you had from the other walls on the far side, coming right along underneath the floor, and sticking out just that far, what is it, 3, 4 foot it's sticking out. It's nothing. There's no reason why that overhang wouldn't work. On some aspect, some places, sometimes it does look a little bit floaty. I get that. It does look that way, but there's no reason why it wouldn't work. In my mind, anyway, there's no reason why that wouldn't work. I mean, we even have steel. If we were really that worried about it, we could shot a couple of pieces of steel across and prop that side up quite easily. So I'll get a roof on there, and then we'll get a little roof in the bottom here. Now I know that we build these sections obviously by section, but in the real world we don't build like that. We don't build in section by section. We go right the way across expanses in which to support the areas. We wouldn't just clip that thing on the side. It definitely wouldn't work if we were just nailing or screwing it to the side of the building. I completely agree, that would not work in any way. Well, if we actually built the floor as one piece, going through the whole of the upstairs right the way, and then out the side, the counterbalance on the other side would support that with ease. So we'll put this up here. We'll put a little wall in here as well. These again, they sync quite nicely. We're in the half wall tab. Spin it round. Perfect. Little idea from Sar there. Well, that's where I got it from anyway. So if you have an object that just will not go and it's saying that it's red, try turning it around. If you turn it around, sometimes one side's softer than the other, and that's a prime example right there. I couldn't get anywhere near that little fence there, but as soon as I turned it round, it just lit up blue straight away. So now we've got that little building there, and there's that little bit at the top. So I'm thinking to myself, right, how can I now support that a little bit, or make it look like it's supported a little bit, and put another building in here as well. A little shack here for the guards up on the roof, because a lot of the people that will be on the walls are just the guards. The settlers don't really have any reason to be up here. On the other side, if you go up the main steps, the concrete steps that are actually built into the castle, on that side is the farmer's side, but that's also the side where the seafront is. So there'll be storage and all that sort of thing on that side, and the farm will be on that side. I'm not going to have the farm inside the centre of the castle. I'm going to have it up on the walls. So I'm trying to move this over here, so I put that foundation piece, wooden foundation piece, out to the side, and I snap across from that. I've got that in a nice little position there. I'll put my walls around it. That's not going to go in, that's too fat. Nice thin one. Is that going to go in? No. No. So I'm going to have to move it out a little bit. So we'll get rid of. Keep trying though. Keep trying. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Grab that. And it jumps. So what do I do here? Go on here. Go on half walls. No, still not gonna. There we go. Got ourselves a little half wall. Put that across. There's no reason. There's a perfectly fine little gap there. So that is why this will go in. So I don't know why the full wall wouldn't. But you know, we work around it. We don't bother keep trying to move things about. I just go with the flow, and I think, right, well, it's telling me I can't put that piece there. I'll put a different piece there. Screw you. Also want that across here as well. Another piece. Nice big flat one across the bottom. And I will realise that I don't actually get this square with the actually looking at it I can tell that it's not square, but at the time I couldn't, and it might be that I can now see that because I know it's not square. I know I have to adjust it again in a minute. I managed to get that to sit on top of there. 2 seconds. Is it there? Have we done it? Still light blue. Yeah, but then look, see that little gap at the back? Obviously that's not going to work. It's going to be seen whenever I walk past it. So I do have to change that. I do have to adapt that. it's not a big structure where I'm going to be putting stuff, say, around the base of it, like some junk walls or anything like that. It's just a smaller little base, little room. So I'll move that over again. It's quite soft. It quite easily just drops into there. Put that up on the top. I know it'll go. Just got to get it on the right angle. And we're nearly there. There we go. Perfect. So that's up on there. Put the wall across the back, which snapped in quite nicely. That was quite handy. Then we'll go across the little junk fences. Sorry. And I will shut the roof on. Again, I'm ahead of myself. I should wait to see what I do before I make a fool of myself and tell you what I'm going to do when I don't do it, I suppose, but oh well. oh well. Just checking my mic's on. Because although I know I've turned it on since the last time I recorded it, and I did sat through the whole thing talking, and at the end I then realised that I had the mic turned off. Like a noob. Well, I am a noob, aren't I really? So, oh well. Get that in there, that looks quite good. Got a few different textures there now, because I couldn't believe that just clicked in with that other wall on there. Just went straight in there, but it did. Worked out quite well. A small piece on the front, gotta get some stairs in there. Now, by absolute fluke, nothing else will stick onto there, nothing with the stairs won't snap to it. The only thing that will is the 2 steps with the hover. But out of sheer luck, they were the perfect height to put one on the bottom and just slide it in. Just slide it on in there. Look at that, perfect. I couldn't believe how I was quite chuffed with that actually when it happened, because I thought, how the hell am I going to get some stairs on here? And as soon as I tried it, it just worked. I was like, oh, fair enough. So there we go. That's that little building there as well. I've got to stick with that that flat roof. I do try some other roofs. See if we can do something else with it, but it just doesn't work because the overhang on that other building is just too much. So we'll just shut that back up there. Perfect. Excellent. Now we get ourselves a little floor piece, or a bit. Are we going to go for prefab, or are we going to go for floor piece? Which one are we going to go for? We're going to grab that thing. You know, it's clicking onto the edge. I know I want it to overhang a little bit, but I don't want it to overhang loads, so I'll bring it back just a little bit, and about there will do me. Maybe a little bit too far there, but you know what, it's there now, so it's done. We've got ourselves that one with the extra different roof. Put that on a different angle, obviously from the... I'm thinking about what's going to happen from the bottom. In the centre of the settlement, when you stood and you look round, I'm going to have kind of like a skyline all the way around. And I want it to be all different angles and different things. That will give the illusion that the settlement is actually twisted and bent. And if you look down there, now we're starting to get quite a bit done. We're what? An hour and 40 minutes in, and we've got all this built up here now. I know it's come in 2 episodes, but yeah, we're starting to move forward. So we've built all that up there today. We've built across the top of there today. We built that little shack today. The last 40 minutes. We'll get back down into this centre in a moment as well. Move these steps, get them out of the way, because I want to start coming down this front wall now. I want it so that the settlers can, like I say, can move through the settlement. They don't have to go up the wall in one place where the stairs are allocated. I want them to be able to move through like a little shanty town with little bridges and little communal walkways going up throughout, round, twisting round all the little houses and stuff going up into the top. And I want to give that illusion. I know the settlement isn't really big enough to create like building after building after building, one after the other behind each other and then stacked on top, walkways in between. You'd only get one wall done really before you got past the centre of the castle, so it wouldn't really work. But I want to give the illusion of that feel. I want it to feel big but cluttered. I want it to feel I mean, obviously it's going to feel like it's a very full settlement, but I want it to feel like there's a lot of hustle and bustle going on it, and that everywhere you go is something a little bit unique, even though a lot of the pieces are the same. I mean, you can see 2 pieces the same right there. Obviously there's going to be a wall on this front side, so we won't see that, so it's not really a big problem. Put a little shack wall there because we're going to support a little fat piece coming outside here, but that won't go in, so we get rid of that rubble down there. Always makes me nip just a little bit every time I delete some of the rubble off the floor here. I have deleted one of the walls once. I've done it loads of times in the past, but on this build I did it once. And yeah, when you haven't saved for a while, it makes you you do it and you think, oh, I should have saved. Oh, I should have saved. It's going to get me, but luckily it didn't. So I put this piece on. It's got the flat top on the top there. And that's ideal because I can get a little floor piece on there and bring some steps down. Put a foundation shack bridge there, snap that over. I do try and go for a third one, but there really is no need. It's just too much. I got a little bit excited the fact that they were snapping together. And I know they snapped together. I did that on my Spectacle Island build. But sometimes I get a little bit overexcited with them pieces because I do like them, but they do get very repetitive.
You're tuned to Radio Freedom.
So here we go. Then we shot this on the top, little flat piece. That means we can get some stairs attached to that. Those big long ones, bang, straight in there. Excellent. Now we need a little floor piece to go with it. Now from here, I want it to obviously be down another little bit. I want to get rid of that shack bridge or build something out of that shack bridge, and I want something to actually come across the front of there. Now I did originally think, can I put that across down there and then shot in another shack bridge, but it just doesn't work. It won't click in, it won't go where I want it to go, so and then I try a little square piece, but they won't snap to the bottom of them steps, so we move that out of the way. What we need to do is we need to get ourselves some get rid of that. When we get ourselves a foundation piece, I believe. Yep. And we come back over here now. It's not going to go in there because it keeps going underneath the other foundation pieces there. And it just whatever reason, the stone on the floor or the other foundation piece just will not let it go in there. So we move our way back here. We wait for it to go blue, and we'll snap our way back to that. I know it's at a bit of a distance, but we've got, as long as we get the angle right, it doesn't really matter. We can always remove the ones we don't want. So we get that, and that, and then one more. Okay, it doesn't fit. Can I get anything to go in there? No. I was hoping that was going to push itself, force itself. A lot of the times you'll find that if you put that piece on the end, even though it wouldn't go there originally, it'll actually, the snap will force it through. And I use the snap quite a lot, so the snap would force it through, but it just wouldn't in that case. Maybe it's because I could see the legs or whatever, and it knew that it wasn't able to go there, and it just wouldn't allow it. So I do try and play with these a little bit. I try and move them around, I try and manipulate how big the gap is, and also get that second snap to get closer. Maybe I can get it closer. I don't even mind if it's just touching, but I just it's a struggle with these stones on the floor. It just does not want to go there. There we go. So I'm still about as far as I was in the first place. If I deleted the first one that I put in, I would have been in this exact same position. Concrete foundation won't go in. So now we resort and we go back. We grab ourselves a little square floors, a little rectangle, a little quarter floor. Sorry. We bring that over, and they actually sit quite nicely. They do hit the other shack foundation columns, the little legs. It does hit them, but that's a good thing. It looks like it's supported by them. I know it doesn't on the corner, but the other side's touching the wall, so they could have attached it there. Now I do add this piece in, but I have to remove it because it starts getting in the way. And I'm trying to think, right, how am I going to get down here? But now these little steps, they won't snap through. And sometimes I find this is to do with the little quarter pieces that have the boards on the top. When they have the boards on the top, I can't seem to get this to snap through. Now I did try that little trick there. You put it on that one side that's free, and move round, and then click X, and hopefully as it snaps round, it snaps to there and then pops up. But if you tap X quite fast, you can catch it before it pops up. It's still highlighted blue, so here, oh no, I'm not going to do that. But that is the trick that I try and do. When it comes to the point where I do that, I'll try and remember to bring that up again. So here we go. I'm still trying to find any way. I mean these boards that don't have the like ply board on the top, sometimes they go through. You can go through them a little bit easier. Also, the easiest one is the one with the hole, which I hadn't actually thought of here. But yeah, sometimes you can get them through that one with the hole where you just couldn't get them through with anything else. So we're going to change up our idea. We're going to put a little. We're going to try this again, but that won't drop in correct. It just doesn't look right. And again, I should have really group selected and forced that in there. But me being me, I just didn't pop into my mind. Obviously, we're pushing on for 2 hours now. And I've built all that, but I know I've only got about an hour left before I'm going to be going to bed. So I'm now starting to think, oh well, I want to do this yet. So I start trying to move these stairs around and add a little floor piece to the top of these steps. Now I don't know it yet, but what it actually turns out to be is that little junk fence, that little railing, wooden railing, do you call it? That will not allow me to put this floor piece in the right place. So I get it in there and I think, oh yes, it's in. And as soon as I put them steps in, I realise it's not. It's just not in the right place. So I take a little look at that. Drop that. Nah, it's not going to work very well if it has to come round like that. I don't want it to sit like that. So I put that in there. It's still not going. Well, why won't it go? Hold on a minute. That's there. Delete that. Now will it? It's first time. Straight in. Perfect. Way better. It also puts itself through that foundation a piece a little bit as well. Fool drops himself through the foundation by selecting that rather than the piece.
7 p.m. here at Radio Freedom.
Grab the step. Put it on the top. Nice little set of curved steps that works really well. No problems there. No one should have a problem climbing it. And I'm happy with that, so I can't complain. Get rid of that floor. Move on up here. Right then, so we need to box off this little area here. And we're going to do that. Yep, there we go. Force that through there. That then gives us support off the wall to the top of that step. Puts in some more steps. I think we get a little piece on there which will help us get over on the top. When you go up the top of them steps on the side, you'll be able to get up there. Now that fit perfectly, and I don't know why I didn't stick with that. Oh no, that's why. I don't know why I didn't stick with that, but I do. I know why I didn't stick with that, because it covers half of that step and no one would have been able to climb it without falling off. So I have to take it out. So that means that this little place is going to be open air. And that's other set of steps that actually snapped in there, which would have looked quite cool, but I decided to go with that little wooden shack wall. Didn't even notice it just snapped in when I was actually doing it. So we'll put that up there, we'll take that out, we'll put the thicker one in so that it matches up with the top of that roof. There we go, just like that. And then we've got, take that wall out, and the reason I took that wall out is I realised that one is actually a repeat. Oh, sorry guys. A repeat of the wall that's on the other end. Starting to hiccup now as well. My throat is absolutely killing me. I think it's like I say, from working outside in the cold, it feels like a big lump in the back of it. But oh well, won't moan about that. I've already done that once. I say I won't moan about it. That's like the third time this video. So we'll now that we've got that little room sorted up there, we've got a way up onto that side of the wall. Now I need to start thinking, how am I going to get this side? We've got all this side to fill yet. How am I going to get this this to look right now? I need to cover up this front end. I need to build up a couple of layers going back towards that. Obviously I'm coming from the back of the wall there. And I do know that I want the I want the reception desk on this front end, a couple of reception desks, a little area for the guards to sit down, do admin and take paperwork, make sure people coming in the settlement are right. And it's on the other side from where that guard post is going to be on there, so I know whereabouts it wants to be, and I know it needs to be a ground level, so when you're walking down the path you can actually interact with them, because obviously if it's raised up, that's no good to anyone. Problem with that is I've got to use a little flat piece because the shack piece won't go into the floor enough. No, the floor far enough. Won't go into the floor far enough, so I'm going to have to cover the front end of this. Obviously with that path being so thin, it's going to be quite hard to get some steps because I don't have the pillar, I only have the steps, remember, so it's going to be quite hard to drop something in, but we will work it out, we will sort that out and we'll see that get done in episode 5 or 6, I can't remember, one of the two. But for now, I don't worry about it. I want to get my structures done. I can cover the gaps after, because a lot of my buildings will cover the gaps in which I create. Do you know what I mean? You won't actually be able to see them from anywhere. So what's the point in worrying about covering them now? I might as well cover them at any ones that I can actually see and are obvious at the end. So that's how I think about it. I don't bother worrying about them this early on. So I build this little structure here, and this structure will continue to get built as I do a little bit of a sign off. We've got 2 minutes left of the video. I'd like to thank you for watching. This was the second time I recorded this tonight. My flow of my speech I think went a little bit easier in this second one, though. I was a lot of umming and ahhing in that first one, so it's probably a better video for that, so I can't complain too much. I'd like to thank everyone for watching and sticking with us. What, 66, 64 subscribers now. I appreciate every single one of you. It's absolutely amazing to think it'll be 2 months today. Obviously I'm recording this yesterday, but this will be 2 months today that I've been doing YouTube, and mad to every single time I get a new subscriber. It makes me proper excited. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Thanks a lot for subscribing and liking the videos, and if you do like what you've seen here, please hit the like, give me the confidence. I keep making more and more videos for you guys. I'm trying to have them coming out every day. Sometimes my PlayStation's been a bit of a fool, like this week it took me about, I don't know, 8 days to get a frigate out, so about 4 days and 8 attempts of getting a GTA video up, because it just wouldn't release in time and it kept getting rejected, so I don't know. But thanks a lot for watching. If you'd like what you're seeing, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe, really appreciate it, help me grow the channel. And thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully catch you in the next one. Thank you, bye bye.